it's Sharon here. I'm here to show you this lovely little lap book that I've made. I was inspired by Robin Dudley Howe's The Artsy Bohemian, and Robin has her Secret Spooky Society. So if you go to Robin's webpage, The Artsy Bohemian, you'll be able to find out more about that there. But instead of making, I love that little pixie there, instead of making a spooky lap book, I decided to make this little fairy one. So we tie here, she says, just undo that, that's tied with this beautiful sari silk which I dyed myself. I'm really pleased with that. I've been dyeing lots of different sari silks and I've got some amazing colours. I'm going to be restocking my Etsy shop soon. So anyway, back to these. So right, let's start. So this is the front, and I made this frame from the Secret Spooky Society. This beautiful face, which I thought looks like a fairy or a wood nymph or some sort of mystical character. I actually bought that on Etsy. I can't remember who I bought it off, but I could put a link below so that you could see, because it's just so beautiful. So beautiful. Move shimmying off to the right there. These are the flowers from Tim Holtz. This is some gauze cheesecloth which I dyed myself in avocado, and these are Tim Holtz these little flowers as well. On the spine is this lovely dangle, and I put some charms on which say wish. There's a little dragon, there's a pixie and a unicorn, and they just clip onto here so they can be taken off. There's just a lobster claw clip and a couple of vintage glass beads, so that, and a lovely vintage thimble, and it's so tiny, this thimble, it doesn't even fit on my little finger. It's a beautiful little vintage thimble. Here we've got some like Swarovski style diamantes, and to fasten it I put two of these little I don't know what they're called, from Tim Holtz, look like little doorknobs, and around the sari silk around it. So when we open it up like this, let's just put that out, we open it up like this. This is fabric, and I got the papers from Line.Arrow, and it's their Magical Fairy Tea Party, and this is also a fairy from that collection that I printed onto some vintage 1930s book order paper, and I printed it, and I just thought it should look pretty on there, and I like that the writings come through. So the papers from Line.Arrow Magical Tea Party I printed onto fabric. So I've covered the book in fabric, and this here you can see, Paid Treasurer, that is from that collection as well. So let's open up. Let's just zoom in a little bit. Right, so on this side, I love this. I love how all these little bits unfold. And so you can see, let's get my ruler. This is my ruler without any numbers, it's that faded. So the book is approximately 9 centimetres, which is just under 4 inches tall. It's a lot wider than that because you'll see it spread and spread and spread. So I'm going to start with this little bit here. Let's focus in on here. So here we have got a little butterfly which I made myself, this little wrap butterfly. As you can see, it's a safety pin that I've wrapped in wire. And this, there's a word there that says butterfly, and these are some of the mechanical, industrial small parts that Tim Holtz does. And that opens up, and here we've got I have to check these to see if they are pockets and things like that, because I forget where I've put my pockets. These are this is from Tim Holtz. This is from Pixie Hill Studios. And this is Tim Holtz as well. So here it says butterfly. You can see the little girl there. And this opens as well. So in here we have got, let's start here, we've got some tags I don't want to give too, I want to show you, but I don't want to give too much away. So we've got some tags in there. We have got a tiny mason jar. And in here, behind the mason jar, we've got a little tiny notepad that I made. That's tucked behind the mason jar, she says. And in front of the mason jar here, on one of those tiny little Tim Holtz paper clips, we've got a tiny little fairy label. And that, and see there's a butterfly in the mason jar, so there's a tiny label, oops, and some tiny butterfly wings. Not butterfly wings, fairy wings. These are from Line Dot Arrow, not from Line Dot Arrow, from Pixie Hill Studios. Those are tucked behind there. In this pocket here, we have got another tiny, it's a report card. That's from Tim Holtz. And here, is that a flip? No, it's a little pocket. Here we've got from Pixie Hill Studios a tiny little letter to the fairies, from the fairies. That is in that part. This side, again, there's a tiny paper clip. Here is a tiny, whoops, let's move across. Here is a tiny bulldog clip, again with a tiny letter from the fairies. Again, another small mason jar. And again, there is a tiny letter inside there. That's just clipped on with a bulldog clip. We've got a little tiny book, which you can write in. Tiny book. I love that little book. And we have got some more little cards from Tim Holtz that you can journal onto. That is there. That closes, and that just wraps around to close that. Let's move over to this side. So on this page here, we've got a pocket, and in that pocket is a little envelope with a tag. There's a little fairy on the tag there to journal on. So much. It's a little lap book that just keeps on giving and giving and giving. That tucks into there. We've got another Tim Holtz little tag there for journaling on. Am I too close? No, I never know whether I'm too close, too far away. And here is another little pocket, and we have got a little mouse fairy there with the little wings on. We've just got some flowers just tucked in behind that little tiny library card. Right, so that closes, and let's move over to the other side. Now then, here we've got magnetically fitted 3 tiny tins. So here's the first one, and it says wonderful on. It's all sealed as well, and inside this tiny tin, watch me not be able to open it. Yes, I can. We've got a little cup from Acorn, which and it looks like a little cup, there's a handle here. My mum used to tell me when I was a little girl that that's what the fairies drunk their rose hip syrup from. We've got a little tiny toadstool, which I made, and a little vintage sunflower. So they're in this little tiny tin. This tiny tin measures just over an inch, an inch and a 16th. And there's a little butterfly in the lid as well. So that's in that tin. This is all fairy treasures. This little tiny tin, which is approximately the same size, about an inch. Ooh, this little tin with the butterfly in the lid has got fairy wings inside there. That's where we keep our fairy wings. And this little tiny tin measures approximately 3 inches by 1.5 inches in here. So again, this is decoupaged and sealed. We've got, are you ready for this? We've got, and like I said, this is magnetic. We've got a little magical book, little magical fairy book. Ooh. It's got pictures in. We've got a little magic wishing ring. This is a vintage ring. These are the sort of rings that I used to love when I was a little girl. So that is a true vintage. I think it's from the 1960s. Well, it is from the 1960s. We've got a piece of rose quartz. So it's like a little travelling altar, fairy altar. We've got a little bottle here that's sealed with wax, and it says Pure Magic. It's all sealed with wax. We've got a fairy. This is one of the Tim Holtz figures, and then the wings are from Tim Holtz again. But we've got a fairy, and we've got the skeleton of a leaf. So that's like a little travelling nature fairy shrine. I love the ring. My mum had them, and my mum had a box of them, and I'm like, when I say a box, I mean 5 or 6, and I'm like, how come you've got those? So this was probably one of mine, or one she'd bought for me when I was a little girl. I'm not giving them all, putting them all in. I've got I've kept some for me, for myself, for my grandchildren when I get some. So here, I mustn't mumble, I've been told off for mumbling. Yes, so the little book. So all that fits inside the tin, which is decoupaged and sealed. It says fairy, and there's a fairy on the top. And as you can see, it doesn't fall out because it's held in magnetically. So here we've got another little altered little journal. So there's this paper is from my porch prints, one of the Shabby Fairy, Shabby Woodland collection. It's a lovely bird in my garden eating berries. I don't know what it is. It's a huge brown bird. It's a beautiful colour. I didn't even realise I had berries on those trees, but now I've seen the bird and I'm seeing the berries. Right, so let's open this up. So here on this page, we've just got some decoupage work, a little collage. I've put a little tag at the top there. Let's just take that out. And this opens up. And there, oh, I need to put something in there. There's little, those are Tim Holtz. I need to put some tags in there. The fairies believe in you. So I will put some tags in. This page, oh, so I've put two of the Tim Holtz little like colour swatches, and down here I've put some like little fabric swatches, because I thought these are when the fairies go along to the fairy modiste to have their little fairy outfits. They pick what fabrics and things they want. This side here is a little notepad. This is avocado dyed. Quite a delicate paper there. It's pretty. And that opens up again. Let's move across. We've got this is a piece of rice paper, and I put it on there to collage, but then I thought, actually, it's too beautiful. It's just a lovely picture in itself. We've got the roses in the front. We have got the moon. We've got the forest. So I decided not to do anything on that because I thought that is a lovely picture itself. Here is there's a fairy there. Is it a pocket? I can't remember. No, it's just a piece of collage for you to see. A beautiful piece of artwork. And inside here, we've got 2 pockets. One has got a little bundle of the fairy letters tied there with waxed thread. Sorry, they go in there. That lifts. Got some journaling space. On this side, we've got that lifts again. Put a stamp on there. Oh, not only does that lift, but we've got a little pocket there. I'd forgotten about this little pocket. That's an little envelope pocket, and in there are some tickets. And in here I've picked out some pretty vintage stamps held together with one of those cute little Tim Holtz miniature. And my husband's getting the tent out there. Me and my daughter are camping this week at a fairy festival. So he's just checking the tent for me. He's so good. He's even coming down to Wales to set up the tent for us, because we're a pair of lightweights, and then he'll come home and come back Sunday to take it down. Yeah, so some vintage stamps with flowers on, which I thought went really nice with this fairy theme. So that is that little bit. That's there. I need to put some things in. Then this closes up. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing behind there. Yeah, that's it. I've shown you everything. Everything. So you've seen the lot. So it is a little book that just keeps on giving. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sort of active parts to it. I thought whoever gets this you could put your own fairy picture onto there. So it's absolutely beautiful. And then it folds neatly back into this little lap book shape. And what did I say? It's about 4 inches or so, 3.5 to 4 inches tall, and it's about 2.5 inches across. Folds back into this little lap book. I'm so delighted with it, and thank you, Miss Robin, for showing me the skills and techniques to be able to do this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have and you like my work, please have a look at some of my other work. Please subscribe. I'd love to see you. I've got so much planned for when I come back from Devon. Lots of new and exciting things to show you. So see you soon. Bye bye.